Yes. So good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world. Welcome back to Cannon Fodder, the channel for Arsenal fans all over the world. Yes, I got the Cannon Fodder TV Mafia back. Yeah, second time consecutive podcast, man. Stan the man out in Vancouver, who's also the co-host of Gooners in Vancouver. Bottom right, I've got Mobay Gooner, another mafioso. And bottom left, I've got IGs in the house as well. Guys, how are you?
Very well.
Yes, sir. We're here. We're here.
We're
Still
here.
buzzing.
And I'm not sure if you guys can see there's a couple of jars on the podcast. I'm not sure what that's to do with. Maybe Stan can kind of elaborate on that. I'm not getting involved.
Uh,
IG, you started it, IG.
uh, Stan got the money jar. My jar is a different source. It's a different source. I got the energy in my jar.
There you go.
Well,
I ain't got no dollars, no pounds, no nothing, man. But anyhow. So Easy Talk every Friday at 7 p.m. It's going to vary where you are in the world. Before we get started, there's just a couple of notices. One of which is happy birthday to Ray from Arsenal Fan Circle. I think is he 21 again, Stan?
Yeah, 21 again.
Spotted right there. And the other thing I want to talk about was IG has passed 500,000 viewers on his channel. Wow. So IG, congratulations. 500,000 views.
thank you
Well
so
done.
much.
Well done.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Well done. And it's always a pleasure to have IG, Mubay, and Stan the Man on Cannon for the TV. So the thing we actually want to talk about was the game. Yeah, Chelsea versus Arsenal. Signs of a fight. Now, I know Stan covered it in his Gooners in Vancouver. If you haven't seen it, make sure you go back and see Gooners in Vancouver on Cannon for the TV. It was like somebody was overwhelmed and somebody was underwhelmed. But I'm not going to get into that. Mube, Chelsea,
Yeah.
2. Arsenal, 2, man.
Yeah, I was one of those fake fans that was pissed off at halftime, man. I'm telling you, I was on live chat with my dad. I told you my dad and my brother are such big Chelsea fan. I hate losing. I hate losing to Chelsea worse than Tottenham. That's how bad it is in my household. It's pretty bad. They get bad when they win. When they won the other day, I was actually in Jamaica with them when they beat us 2-1 at the Emirates, and that went on for my whole vacation. It was there. It never quits. And after you see what happened 25 minutes whenever Mustafi had that madness that we talked about last week, just reverse the show that we talked about last week, and I said it in the show. I said, if we don't play Mustafi, we will be all right. I just don't want to see Mustafi. And that's just what he does. You know, you expect it. You feel like it's coming to the point now where you feel like it's a mental thing more than anything with him. Like he's just scared to play, even though there's a good play in there somewhere. Because after he made the mistake at Chelsea, he had a wonderful game for the rest of the game. It's just he just have that one mistake in him every game that keep costing us. And I love the fight back from the guys, man. They came back in the second half. I was going off at halftime. I had to go back and look at my tweets, and I was like, I probably was drinking a bottle after that first half. But the fight back, that's what you want to see from the team. They never gave up. To a man, they was good. Give the coach credit also. He didn't make the substitution. What I think we needed one, because I was screaming for one. Bring on another center back, but he was brave. He put Xhaka back there, and he had a wonderful game. So to a man, the coach, the fans that was there, you could have heard them singing the whole night. It was a good day, and like I said, that's what we need to see from this team, a little bit of fight. A lot of people saying, oh, we celebrating a draw. It's not really the result that really matters, because even if we had lost 2-1, if they scored in the last minute in the week, I still wouldn't even be upset about it, because the fight that the team showed a little bit of something. You remember we went there a couple of years ago, and I think Bellerin got sent off, or Gibbs or one of the boys, and we got smacked up 6-0. you know, um, Gabriel got sent off the last match when him and Costa got into the fight. We got beat 2-0, so we lost every time we go there. So it's good to see a fight. To play that much of the game with 10 men, and still was the better team throughout the second half. From what I see, like I said, I missed the first part of the game because I was just coming from work. But from what I was looking at, the second half we played well with 10 men, and hopefully there's something that the boys can carry over. Very proud of them.
IG, what are your thoughts on the game, Chelsea versus Arsenal?
Well, to be fair, I think Chelsea were also playing with 10 men. I think Kepa played for us. And the biggest reason why I say that is because I think when he arrived last season under Maurizio Sarri, he looked like a different player. And right now, he's getting it all wrong. I mean, he's the worst keeper in the Premier League in terms of the saves are concerned. And I believe, well, to nothing, I don't want to take anything away from Arteta, what he said. I think I read a piece wherein it was mentioned that Arteta said something uh, towards the end of the first half that Arsenal actually bounced back. I think this type of character I've seen Arsenal produce against Aston Villa, the game we won 3-2. It's not easy to show character. It's not easy to I think it looked like as if the whole feeling from the fans was getting transferred to the players. I think
Mhm.
everything was resonating, everything it was reverberating, and it was so great to see all the fans. Even they were cheering till the goal that Hector Bellerin scored. And I think the best part was Ian Wright actually mocking Cesar Azpilicueta. It was unbelievable. I mean, it was emotions. I mean, I think to lose against Chelsea, last time also we came around very close. So I think they are not clinical in their final third, which Lampard also will be boasting about it. And also to mention Arteta, he was about to substitute Bellerin and was about to bring in Eddie Nketiah, but he stopped since Bellerin scored. So I think to talk about the positioning sense and the way we defended, Chelsea tried a lot, but I think the positioning of the players, awareness. I think I would really like to commend Mustafi to stand up after making that mistake because his clearance was also an assist to Martinelli's first goal, and he stood up. He stood up then. So, I mean, he can get all the hate he wants, but credit where it is due. Granit Xhaka, wow. I mean, what a commendable performance. I mean, this team has something, but to click together is the biggest problem.
IG, I mean, for you, what were the turning points in the game apart from? Well,
Uh, I think the biggest turning point was N'Golo Conte falling down. It was a greatest sight. I mean, obviously you fall, you fall before God. I think Gabriel Martinelli was an unbelievable force, and that was a turning point. I mean, even though we are written off from the top four, even though everyone thinks that we are done, but every team fears us on the counter. And I think I did not miss Aubameyang at all because I think in terms of big games, I don't think so. Aubameyang turns up. I think against smaller teams he scored more goals, and against these bigger teams, I don't think so. He turns up. But Martinelli, unbelievable. I think the fact I think Mesut Ozil was really good. I think there were certain very positive things. I think the second half, I think maybe what Arteta said them in the dressing room, it was something different. Do I need to put it right now?
yes, you
Can we do
do.
this after the show? Wow. I mean, I can't even name the person. Wow. Mube, dude,
No,
don't do this
don't
to me,
call
please.
Mobay. Mobay ain't got nothing to do with this. Don't call me.
It's called a swear jar for a reason.
I just named the person. I never sweared. Did I?
That's all right. That's all right.
Oh,
That's all
okay.
right.
Okay. I get it. And I think he was pretty solid. He was pretty solid. I won't name him. And I think the best part was um, I think Bukayo Saka. His addition was also little. I believe I think Arteta's instructions. I think everything clicked. I mean the way they. I think also the biggest point that actually mattered for me was the fans. So I think I'll give them the whole credit. I think that was a best part in this game.
Yeah. Stan, you're a fan of Hector Bellerin scoring that goal, and
Oh yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So you don't think AZ Niles will be pushing out Bellerin anytime soon?
Look, I think with Hector Bellerin, he's never really had anybody behind him pushing for his place. He's always been, if Hector Bellerin is walking and he's breathing, he's going to be a right back every game. The only time he doesn't play for us is if he's injured or needs to be rotated out because he's tired. And I think that what you're seeing now is he's got a young guy who's covering in that position, but is also getting a lot of good reviews about covering in that position. And I think that having someone like Ainsley Maitland-Niles, who's getting good write-ups about playing at right back, is only going to help Hector Bellerin to help his performance to just go up a little bit further. And I've seen that, I think it was the last game where he came in and then he went out injured again. He's had a couple of games, hasn't he, where he's come in and then he's had to be taken out. But every time he's come in, he's always looked good to me this season. He has. I know there's a lot of people out there that are saying he may have lost a bit of pace. I've even seen some people, before he came back from injury, was saying that we should be thinking about moving him on. And I thought that what he'd done the other night there with that goal to secure that 1 point, I think that answered maybe a few critics, because I think he's still got a very important place in this team.
Mubay, what are your thoughts on that position there? I know, again, Bellerin was the captain on the night. Do you think, as Stan says, literally he's shut up a lot of, critics out there, and Ainsley Maitland-Niles, as Stan said on the last podcast, is just a stopgap. He's not. He's only there temporarily in that position there until Bellerin comes.
Well, you see, the thing with that right back position is, like Stan said, Bellerin never really had any competition. For years, we had Jenkins in there. We just never had a proper right back. We had Lichtsteiner last year, so nobody really was there that you would think of one day they can push him out the team. Since Arteta come in, Niles had been one of our best players. Positionally, he fixed himself up. He's making one-on-one tackles. He's getting forward more, putting in crosses. And you want to see competition from these players. Bellerin should be an undisputed right back because he's a good player. We know there's a good player in there. We all know that. I'm a fan of Bellerin. I don't have any problem with him starting games, but it's also good to see that there's competition there. We're having this conversation because both players are playing well. Niles didn't have the best of the start to the season. We've been on the show plenty of times. I'm a big fan of him, but we've been on the show plenty of times where we said he's just not good enough for that right back position. And if he can learn, I think the problem that he was having was he had his mind set on playing central midfield, which I don't think that's going to happen at this club. There's just too much midfielders here that's better than him in the position. So if he can knuckle himself down and get that right back position, we hope that Arteta can come in and do something for him like he did with the guy named from Man City, Zinchenko or whatever his name is, the left back that they had playing the whole season when they won the title. He was a midfielder and they had him playing left back. Fabian Delph did the same thing there too. He played the whole season playing left back. So if we can get him to be half the player those guys, well, we looking at having two good right backs in our teams, and Bellerin, the injury problem that he is having, it's good to have someone else. Nice can play this weekend. We got a game coming up in the FA Cup, so we don't have to throw Bellerin back in there again and try and risk of an injury. We can rest him, play Niles with the worry of seeing a big drop in quality. So I'm all for it, man. I'm all for competition all over the field. We love to have those competition. That's why I would love to see Kolasinac and Tierney fit, because I think that's good for both of them to push each other, But unfortunately, both of them have injuries the whole season. We want to see this all over the field, and long may continue. I'm a fan of both of them.
Okay. IG, we've spoken extensively about Mustafi, and I remember Mubay saying that this guy, his confidence is shot. It's done. It's dusted. And lo and behold, he gave away. Well, he didn't give away the penalty. He started the chain reaction, didn't he, by giving a soft pass back to Leno. Do you think there's anything that Arteta can do to try and improve A, his confidence, and B, the way that he plays in the game? Because for me, he looks very, very scared. So tentative that he's scared he's going to make a mistake, and he made a mistake. Do you think Arteta really should not play him at all? IG.
I think for any new manager who's coming in to impose his style, he needs to have his players. and Mustafi is not the kind of player that should be playing in a system involving Arteta. I think to understand that, I think the real self of the way Arteta wants Arsenal to play, I think he does not have his players, because these players don't have the legs to what level he wants to take Arsenal. But to talk about Mustafi, I think we don't have any other option in the centre back position right now, and it's just that his hands are tied, and that's the only reason why he's playing Mustafi, because I think Socrates got injured. That was the biggest problem, and the problem is this guy does not have proper awareness. I mean, the biggest problem is, if the first thing that you need to understand is, if you have a striker who's pressing hard, you don't do a diagonal pass. I mean, even if you're giving it to your keeper, you need to understand where your keeper is. That means you're not looking at the keeper. You want your keeper to get out of the line and come and actually, try to clear it off for you. I mean, you want him to do your job. Who does that?
But
I mean, you need to stand up for the team.
But then IG again, does that not go back to his confidence? His confidence is just completely gone. He's scared of making mistakes.
I mean, he's scared to play Arsenal type of football. I can say that, because I think if your mindset is quite defensive, and if you're, one of your centre back of your one of the centre backs of your team is sent off because of your mistake. Although I don't completely agree with the red card, it shouldn't have been a red card. It should have been, most probably, it should have been a yellow. Obviously, penalty should have been a penalty, but definitely not a red card. But then you got to come back. You got to come back from it, because you don't have time. Because for a team like Chelsea, who's been attacking so much, who threw Ajax out of Champions League, I think you need to show up. He stepped up after that, but I think even if he goes into bigger games, I don't think so he has a future with Arsenal. And I think he can take a lot from this game, because I think he stood up. That's all I can say.
Stan, are we looking for a victim in this drama?
Look, having watched Squadron Mustafi now for as long as I have, it's quite apparent that obviously a curse was placed on him at birth by an old gypsy woman. I don't know why. And and it seems like this curse can't be lifted. I mean, we've tried everything, right? Other than garlic and silver bullets. So, I mean, look, joking aside, right, I feel for the guy big time. I mean, when he made that mistake and the camera zoomed in on Mustafi's face, I mean, I had tears in my eyes. Seriously, I mean, you can see he's just like, in his head, he's just thinking to himself, oh, for fuck's sake, not again. Yeah. He just seems to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. And like IG said, and a lot of people online said that, after that, he was immense. He was working at the back there with Xhaka. He created an assist almost for Martinelli. But for me, his mistake just undoes all of that.
Yeah, damage was already been done.
It's no good shooting yourself in the leg in the first minute, and then for the next 89 minutes, you're hobbling around, but putting in a 5-star performance. Do you know what I mean? He's cost us points. His mistakes, they cost us points. So it's obvious that he needs to try and resurrect his football career elsewhere. Yeah. But I mean, if that's going to happen, when that's going to happen, I don't know. And I do feel for him, because you can see that there's a player in now, and he does try, but that brain fight that he always seems to have during the game, they're very, very costly.
Yeah.
So you reckon there's nothing that Arteta can do, even with a bit of man management? You think Mustafi's career?
Well, I mean, I'm sure Arteta, he's only been up the road, right, at Man City. He's probably seen a lot of Mustafi over the years, right? It's not like he's been playing managing in another league. He's seen it all. He's given everybody a clean slate to show him what they can do. And Mustafi's shown him what he can do. He's shown him, right? So, what are we going to do with shorter bodies, right?
Yeah.
I think he should go to Syria, because I think if Chris Smalling can be a hit over there, I think Mustafi can be Fabio Cannavaro.
You never know. It might prove all of us wrong.
Yeah. It's not gonna be at Arsenal, that's for sure.
Yeah.
He ain't gonna prove us wrong here. He's done. He's done here, man. He's done. It's been done for 2 seasons. Like I've never really wanted a player to leave this club as bad as Mustafi. Like every time I see him, I get nervous. I just know that something is gonna happen. Like you just know it. He can play 89 minutes like Cannavaro, but he just have this 1 minute that costs us points. Like it always happens. I remember that game that he played against Spurs, and he was playing right back. And he had such a wonderful game. We were 1-0 up. Aaron Ramsey scored that beautiful goal. We were having a wonderful time. Spurs never looked at like creating a chance. Emery had set up the team perfect that day to play with Ramsey scoring that goal. They never looked like creating a chance. They get one free kick, and you just knew it that it just had to be Mustafi. Like, I was like, it just happens. Like he had a wonderful game playing right back. I was watching that game and I'm like, you know what? Maybe he can fill in that right back, and just know it was going to happen. This is better than what's going to happen. It's Mustafi.
Yeah.
The man, but he has a World Cup trophy. A World Cup winners trophy.
Yeah, he was dragged. It was dragged to get that by a wonderful number 10 that played for Germany. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna call the names, but
where's the jar, man?
I ain't mentioned no name. I said a wonderful number 10.
But can I just, as we're speaking about that incident that Mustafi caused, which resulted in us going down to 10 men, when I was watching it in the pub, and I said this yesterday on Fan Circle. Immediately, I'm thinking, okay, we've gone down now. We've lost Luis. Who's going to be the sacrificial lamb to make way for Holding? That's what I thought was going to happen almost immediately. So I'm sitting there and I'm watching, and I'm nudging Mike next to me. And I'm saying, like, you do realise you've got a centre back pairing now of Mustafi and Xhaka. This is gonna. I don't know how this is going to end.
Yeah, I was worried too.
We got into half time, and we came back out, still no change. And I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck is going on? And at one point they showed Holding, taking off his bib and getting ready, but he didn't come on. And you know what? Now that we can look back in hindsight, I thought what Mikel Arteta done now was a very good message to the team. Had he made that change and put Holding on almost immediately, which I was crying out for, you got to think about the message that sends to the team. That sends to the team is, lads, we're under the cosh. We might not get anything out of this. We've just got to try and hold on and keep the score respectable here. But by not doing that, and he basically was saying to the players, we can still get something out of this. Let's just shuffle ourselves around a little bit. But I believe in what you guys can do to get something out of this. And you got to say that Xhaka responded when he got moved into the back. I thought he had a very good game there.
But wasn't he going to take off Martinelli, wasn't he?
Yeah,
that's what he said. Was going to take off Martinelli.
The number came up, didn't it, on the whatever you want to call it, the number changer thing. Yeah. And I was like, whoa, he's going to he's going to be the sacrificial lamb. But I'm glad
that I did not agree with. Like, this is one time that in my mind, I was like, what one player will you take off this field? I was like, yeah, Ozil can go. Like, that's what I was thinking that. Because he was thinking, I swear, I was thinking that. I'm a big fan of it. But then you look at the team and you look at what we needed to do. That game was not just. This game is going to require a 3-player up front that's going to run around and chase the ball. I did not expect him to do what he did, and that's why he had to come off the field because he was so shattered from running around. Followed behind Martinelli, like he had to keep up with these young players. And I was looking at it like, if you had one player to take off that field at that time, when I see Martinelli number went up, I was like, no, like that's the wrong decision. Like I did not agree with that, but I'm glad he changed his mind. The first substitution he made was taking off him and bringing on Guendouzi, and we got the equalizer right after he came on. So I'm glad he didn't take off Martinelli, man, because it just with 10 players on the field that require a different kind of work rate. Some players have it, some obviously don't. And he's one of the players that, it's not going to be very beneficial when you're playing with 10 players away from home at that.
Yeah.
I think if Mikel Arteta had any sense, he would have sent David Luiz back onto the field, but with Guendouzi's shirt on.
Yeah. It would have worked.
And also Genduzi's face on as well.
It'd be worth a try.
Mhm.
Does anyone just
Well,
started by watching Canal 4 TV? I've got the Canal 4 TV Mafia back together again for the consecutive Easy Talk. IG is in the house. Stan the Man, as well as Mobay Gooner. Make sure you subscribe, like, and share to Canal 4 TV on all platforms. We did a poll actually because we know Aubameyang is going to come back. Who would you drop? Who is going to be dropped when Aubameyang comes back? IG.
Nicola Pepe. Tough choice, but I think Nicola Pepe.
Okay. Mube doesn't agree.
Hmm. My
Who you
boy,
got?
I'm sorry, my boy. I'm sorry, my boy Lacazette got to go. You know, that's my boy, but you know, he ain't scoring goals right now. It just ain't happening. He's off form. You know, we're playing him. We keep playing him. We're hoping that he can come back to form. You can't take Martinelli out of the team. You can't bring back Aubameyang and not start him. Like he just has to play. You know, we haven't seen Martinelli play on the right hand side of the field, so I haven't seen him play right wing. I haven't seen him play there. He either play on the left or play up front. So he's pretty much going to start on the left or start up front. Aubameyang is going to be the striker. Martinelli on the left. I just think that I can't take Pepe out the team. I'm sorry. I have to. The thing that people don't see with him, and I know he loses the ball a lot. He's not scoring a lot of goals. He's not creating a lot of assists. But he takes players on. He keeps whoever is playing that left back position. If you watch the games that he played, we don't get double up again. That's why Nas is at. I think this is why you see that Bellerin had a good game and Maitland-Niles had such a good time since Arteta is coming, because these left backs are not bombing us forward as they was before because they are scared of him, because he's not coming back to do much defending, let's be honest. But these left backs on these other teams, they're scared that Pepe will hit them on the counter attack. They're keeping it safe. So we're getting our right back in one-on-one position with the right winger from the next team. And I think it's beneficial. You just need to have that threat. I don't have a problem with Aubameyang and Lacazette playing together. It's just that it's not working. It haven't worked all season. You know, here we are, I don't know, 18, 19, 20 games in. It just haven't worked. We all want to see the famous four on the field, but it's just haven't been working. So we have to switch something up. We need some kind of energy in this team. Martinelli is bringing that, and Aubameyang is going to bring the goals. So I want to see him go up front.
Stan, who would you drop?
I'm kind of in the same camp as Mobay. You know, I think Lacazette would probably benefit now if he was coming off of the bench and not starting games, having Aubameyang in that central position and keeping Martinelli on the left. You know, and if we've got like maybe 20 minutes to go and we're doing okay, you know, we've got hold of the game. You could probably bring Lacazette on and try and get some form back, and you know, bring him into games gradually at the end of games for 20 minutes or so, and try and get some form back. Other than that, maybe a change of formation. I mean, the other thing that I would maybe try is a change of formation by taking out he who should not be named and having, say, maybe someone like Torreira in front of the back four, and then having maybe two ahead of him, rather than having two in front of the back four and he who shall not be named ahead. Trying a different sort of formation with maybe Torreira at the base and maybe a double partnership of someone like maybe Xhaka and Willock, or Xhaka and Dani Ceballos if he decides that he doesn't want to go home. But other than that, probably with what Mobay said, Lacazette off the bench.
Yeah. I just get to think with Pepe, his starting position, he's too deep. He should be further up front. I mean, I know you see against Chelsea, there was like 3-4 players he had to try and, you know, get through. But he needs to be a little bit further up the field. And as well, swap flanks. I think, for me, his plays become a little bit too predictable. He's always on the right-hand side. He's going to try and drag the ball back, try and nutmeg and change it up a little bit. You know, if you're not getting much fun on the right-hand side, go on the left-hand side. I don't
If
I
you
know.
think
notice, if you
if
go ahead,
I'm so sorry.
go ahead,
If
RG.
I want to
Go
make a
ahead,
point
RG.
here because this is what I was actually thinking about. I think Alex, you made a very good point. I think if he starts from the left, I think it would be good because I think I've never seen him cross a ball, and how will he do that? He's so great while in the corners. I think he's done so well. And yesterday I was actually seeing Wolves versus Liverpool game, and I saw Traore. I mean, he just tormented Liverpool, and his one cross, which was I think Jimenez scored the goal. I think it was so good to see, and I want to see that from Pepe because if he's starting from the right, we all know what he's going to do. He's going to cut in and he's going to shoot from the left leg. That's what he's going to do, and it's quite predictable, as you said, Alex. But yes, from the left hand side, I think I would want him to use his pace, beat the fullback, and try to at least give a good cross to the central striker.
Mm, mm, mm. Just take it back a little bit. I mean, this young boy Martinelli, we've lauded him so many times, Stan, so many friggin' times, and he came up with the goods. 18 years of age, 18 years, a teenager, Mubay.
Yeah,
Where
yeah, that's
where
right.
do you think Arsenal realistically can hold on to this boy for the next 5 years?
We have to. I mean, the position that we were in 5, 10 years ago, I don't think we're in that same position again where we're a club now that we have to sell players. Man, we have to sell players. We had to. We moved from the Emirates. We came here. We was in debt. We're not really in that position now. I think we can definitely keep him here and keep him here long term. To be honest, um, you're looking at a young player that he's just enjoying himself at this. It's just up to the club now to make sure to take care of him this summer. Don't wait 2 or 3 seasons. Don't wait till his contract get in the last 2 years to try and renew it. He's definitely a player that's playing way above his pay grade. He should be getting paid than most of these players in the squad, if you ask me. I know we're going off just a little bit of half a season that we've seen him, but potentially he can be a good player, and I think we can. It all depends on the owners. We don't know them. They're greedy. You never know. But we're spending money on players now. You see, we buy Pepe. We do spend a lot of money. People tend to not see that. But over the last couple of seasons, we have spent quite a bit. We just spend it on the wrong players. So we have to. That's why I'm not really all for getting a player now in January and just going out there and getting anybody because we don't want more dead players, man. We don't want to go out there and get another Mustafi and then we're stuck with him again for 4 years. I don't want that left back from PSG or whatever his name is. I don't want him at Arsenal because it's just going to be a player that's going to come in, play a couple of good games, and then you turn around, it's going to be the same thing. Another Kolasinac. We already got one. Why not keep what we got, go in the summer and move on? So hopefully we can keep a hold of him, man. He can be a big player for us. Hopefully we can get him on a new contract, put a big release clause in there. And if somebody do want him, pay the premium because let's be honest, every player is for sale. Every player is for sale at the end of the day. But we just want to make sure when these young players leave this club, it's not for peanuts like we've been getting robbed of all of our players. Gnabry at Barcelona, Wilshere walked out the door for free. Ramsey walked out the door for free. We just got to make sure that this doesn't happen. Selling players is not the problem. It's selling them for the right price. Liverpool sold the best player in Coutinho, but they sold him for so much money they could have replaced that player with 2 or 3 players. So we got to make sure that we're in that position that if the time comes and he wants to leave or if he got to leave, then make sure it's top dollar that we can take care of this club.
Stan, what do you think Martinelli will be in 5 years' time? Do you think he'll be so ambitious that he would want to go to Real Madrid or Barcelona?
Well, it's hard to believe that, just a year ago, this kid was on the streets of Brazil playing keepy-uppy with watermelons. I mean, it was literally like playing nowhere, £6 million, big up to Edu for finding this kid, real big up to Edu for finding this kid. But he seemed to have a very, very high ceiling. And again, piggybacking off of what Mobay just said, what I hear is that he's on a contract of about 10 grand and they're already talking about giving him a new contract and trebling that.
Yeah.
And fair play to that. But also, though, they need to put in, as Mobay said, a huge release clause so that if anybody comes sniffing around, You know, put him on a 5-year contract and a huge release clause. So if anyone comes sniffing around, Arsenal hold all of the cards, and we're in the driving seat, and we will dictate whether he goes or he stays. But I actually believe that what we're seeing unfolding in front of our eyes could be like a generational talent, a little bit like when a young Rooney or a young Cristiano Ronaldo burst onto the scene. I think he's that good, because it's almost, he's the one player now that when you look at a team lineup and you see his name in the starting squad, you go, oh, okay, I don't know how we're going to do today, but I think there's going to be a goal. I'm that confident when I see him in the lineup. Every time I see him, he leaves me amazed, and I keep thinking to myself, you know, wow, where can he go from here? And you watch him in the next game, and he does something more. I mean, the goals that he scores, I've seen him score with his head. I've seen him run into the box and get on the end of a cross and volley it in, right foot, left foot. And then the other day, doing that $6 million man impression, picking the ball up and running through the whole field, leaving Kante in his wake, and then having the confidence, rather than putting it out right, I think it was Pepe, he was hanging out on the right, he just had eyes for goal. His eyes were for goal, and he finished the job. I mean, you should have seen it in the pub where I was, man. It was like the Rio de Janeiro carnival. Everyone was just like, it really was, you know. I mean, on my way home from the pub, I was literally stopping strangers in the street, pulling my phone out and making them watch the replay of the goal. Sometimes twice, you know, and they'd be looking at me going like, who are you? What do you want? It was brilliant. You know, I can't get enough of this kid. I really can't.
Yeah. IG, can we realistically keep hold of Martinelli? Can we keep hold of him?
I think realistically, in 5 years' time, I don't see Aubameyang at Arsenal. I don't see Lacazette at Arsenal. I really don't see Ozil and Mustafi at Arsenal. And there you go. I think I see a future in him. I think he could be a club legend. I think at least for 5 seasons, if he's there at Arsenal, I think there are lots of things in his game that he needs to improve. Especially if he's playing down the wings, 1v1, and I would want to see him cut in and be a proper winger. And either that, or if he's playing as a central striker, he's got everything to do. His positional sense is superb as a central striker. And I think he's a way better goal scorer from his head than Lacazette and Aubameyang. And that's what I feel. And I think the best part is, I think the way he scored against Chelsea, I think he showed that he's got the burst of pace, and I think he clocked 34.2 kilometers per hour.
Wow.
It was an unbelievable thing. And I think in the 5 years time, I think we can keep hold of him, because I know that he could be one of the most expensive players on the wage bill for us.
Yeah.
Can I just say as well, I'd like to, if he continues the season the way he's gone and he finishes, we're still lauding this at the end of the season, as well as the contract, I'd like to see him be given a first team squad number. And I think
he will. They'll change it just like they did. They did it with Reece Nelson and the rest of them this summer. They will give him a better number.
I'd like to see him get the number 7.
Yeah.
Because that is available, because Mkhitaryan's available.
So I think he will be M7 for Arsenal.
Oh yeah.
He's going to be M7 for Arsenal.
Very good. For a final time, anyone's watching now live or at a later stage on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to Cannon 4 TV on all platforms. I've got IG, I've got Standerman, as well as Mobay Gooner. So to quickly go into the chat and let's see what people have been saying. Let's have a look. Right, so I've got African Gooner says, evening, gentlemen. Are we gentlemen? I don't know.
I'll take it.
We're the mafia, that's for sure. Anyway, gentlemen. I've got Cruz Dermot. It says, if he comes back, transfer window still open and mixed reports out there. I don't want Oba to go. Yeah, because there's been some talk about him having some kind of communication with Barcelona. Aubameyang? Yeah.
They're saying that he's you don't know what the papers are like. He could have been
exactly.
Right? Yeah. They're saying that he's agreed terms. The player with Barcelona. I mean, You know what Barcelona are like, though, right? You know, they try to put a shirt on Fabregas. They'll pull any kind of stroke to get what they want. So I don't believe anything that they say.
They can have it. They can have it. They can have it if they want. Pay the premium. Like I said, every player is for sale. You know, and he got a year and a half left of his contract. You want Aubameyang to play top dollars for him, and then we go from there. You know.
I don't know if Aubameyang.
Can I ask a question then? I mean, he provides a lot of our goals. I mean, he's probably provided, 95% of our goals this season. Do you think then if it would be, if Barcelona pulled up tomorrow and dumped 100 million on the desk, would we take the 100 million and try to do something with it, although we don't have a lot left in this window, or not worth the goals that we might need to the end of the season in maybe the Europa League or the FA Cup or something? How do you guys feel about that?
100 million, I'm selling them. I'm sorry. I love Aubameyang, but I mean, I'm thinking long term for this club. The thing is, he hasn't signed that contract that we needed. We cannot risk another Sanchez situation. We lost Sanchez for nothing.
Yeah,
you know, that's another thing that happened too. As much as we love these players, and as much as we want them at the club, we have to think about the club. We got to put the club first before any player. And I told you at the start of the season, after all this foolishness with the Emery and all these players, I'm done putting players in front of the club. I'm not doing it anymore. And if they bring up, if you don't want to sign the contract, and the same thing with Lacazette too. I love Lacazette to death, my favorite player at Arsenal. But if he don't sign that contract, he's getting to sell too. At this point, I don't really care. I'd rather rebuild with these young players, try and bring some more players in. But if they don't sign the contract, that's it for me. I'm done with these players and holding the club ransom. We need to move on from this. We're not a small club anymore. You don't see Aguero at Manchester City not signing his contract. You don't see it happening. If a player want to stay at a club and he truly loved the club, you sign the contract and stay there, not try to run it down and move for free to get a big signing on bonus. I'm not with that anymore. Done with it.
Yeah. Aubameyang's, is he 30 or 31? 30 years of age, isn't he?
Yeah, 30.
Then yeah, if they pay the money, then yeah, reinvest the money.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Archie, what do you think? Would you sell?
I think I don't think so. He fits into the Barcelona's tiki-taka style of football. He does not. I think he's played long ball since he played under Jurgen Klopp, or even in Dortmund. I think he's just scored most of the goals as in tap-ins. I don't see him being a good fit with Barcelona. No, not at all. He cannot replace Luis Suarez. He'll be just another Antoine Griezmann kind of a player, because Barcelona are wanting.
Would you sell him?
Barcelona? Yeah, I would if they come up with the right price, because right now I think see I never said that I was his fan, so I think I can come up with the idea that we can sell him, because I think
I love him. Don't get me wrong, man. I love the guy. He's a striker. He's a goal scorer. He's everything that we always wanted. Somebody to play up front and he's going to score 20 goals a season. We're pretty much sure of that every season that he's going to bang them in. But the situation that we're in now, the situation that he is in, the contract that he's on, the age, 100 million. If you give us 80 million, we're taking it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I think whatever you said before, in your sentence before, but I think that just cancels out everything. Your love.
I think my only worry is if we took the money, I'm not sure I trust the board to invest that money in this window. Because we're halfway through now. To get something in 2 weeks, probably that money would be spent in the summer.
Yeah. But I mean, which strikers are out there that we could buy?
Dries Martins. That one's been going around, hasn't it?
Lautaro Martinez from Inter Milan. I'd buy him. Or Ciro Immobile. I would buy them.
I
If we got 100 million, it gives us a little bit more options than where we are now, right? I suppose.
Yeah.
We've splashed the cash.
But also as well, I think I think we've gotten to a situation where players rely so much on Aubameyang to score the goals. We're so reliant on him. We've got Lacazette who's dried up. It's completely dried up. There's no goals come from there. But I think it's refreshing to see he's out. Bellerin stepped up, scored a goal. Martinelli scored a goal. So I think not having Aubameyang in the setup, we're more reliant as a team rather than relying on one or maybe two players to score the goal. But for me, if they're gonna pay the money for Aubameyang, sell him. 30 years of age, sell him, man. Reinvest the money. Reinvest the money, man. Right, and I think there's just one more. Cruz number says, my boy. Yeah, I think he's saying that Aubameyang is his boy. Well, I don't think he's going to be at Arsenal much longer. How many more? He's got a season and a half left on his contract, hasn't he, Aubameyang?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's gonna sign the contract and be here for man. I don't believe, like IG said, I don't believe that those Barcelona link. And they were talking about a loan, and we agree a loan. Get out of here. imagine loaning Aubameyang to. Okay, we loan you Aubameyang. Send us Messi in return. How about that? 6 months. So we send him back. We send him back in the summer. It just doesn't make sense. We agree to loan these papers, man. They're so. I don't know how you guys deal with them over there in England.
Well,
these papers are so crap.
Well, that could happen because Messi has never won a Europa League.
You're right.
Yeah.
He's never finished 10th either. You can hold that trophy too.
Oh dear, guys! On the next game is Bournemouth FA Cup. Any predictions?
I think we're going to win.
Okay.
I've been saying draws for all of our games so far this season. I've been saying draws, and I've been right as well. I've been right. I was a betting man, but I think that we've turned a corner now, and I think that what happened in that Chelsea game, not only has it given the fans a lot of belief that we can see a change and an improvement. I think the players, after that game, they must have sat down in the changing room, looked at each person next to them, and thought to themselves, yeah, we're in this together. You know, I can count on this guy. I can count on that guy. And if they can carry that into the next game, I think that we're going to get a win.
Okay. Mubay, prediction. Bournemouth.
I'm going for a win also. We know Bournemouth. They're not going to play they full 11 there. There's no way they're going to do that. Not with the situation that they're in at the minute. They should focus on the Premier League and the Premier League only. But even if they do play the stronger side up there, I think the space in between the games is going to help us a lot because we don't play again until Monday. It's like another week, you know, and then the following game after that is on the next weekend. So we can go there and actually play a strong side and still have enough time to recover to play the next game. So if we go there and play a strong side, we won't have Aubameyang again, but I like to see Lacazette start. I like to see Pepe start. I like to see Martinelli starts also. As long as we don't have Mustafi in this team, I think we'll win.
And finally, IG.
I think with David Luiz suspended, you will definitely see Mustafi again. And I think Arsenal will.
Socrates is back. Socrates is in holding.
You're clasping at straws now, Mubay.
I got you. He's not much better, but put him in there.
My grandmother's free on Monday night as well.
Yeah, sorry, IG.
Well, I'm going for an Arsenal win. I think Arsenal will definitely topple Bournemouth.
Okay, all right. Listen, I'm going to bring an end to this sort of bite size with the Cannon 42 and Mafia. Quick question before we wrap this up. Stan, how much money do we actually collect on the jar tonight?
I've got Mobay down for a tenner.
I haven't mentioned. If I mention his name, blame it on the liquor. It's not me. Blame it on the NSC.
No, actually, my mistake. He played a cute game. He dropped it out. IG, he definitely owes some money to the jar.
Yeah, that's IG. IG mentioned the name. The only thing I say was the German number 10.
Don't worry, the money's going to a good use. We're going to send it to Arsenal. Help crowdfund to get a centre back in.
Oh,
hey, listen, it can go towards my birthday. For my birthday is Monday, so it's going to be a lit weekend.
Right.
I have no more work. Until Tuesday. I have nothing better to do than and no Arsenal either. They cannot Arsenal play on my birthday. Just imagine if we go to Bournemouth and lose. Yeah, I forgot they play on Monday.
They're playing on Monday, man.
Oh, what a day! They better win.
Stan,
Well, well,
I thought you saying not the money to go towards the street party, man.
The street party, yeah, of course. Yeah, there's also the street party.
There you go.
There's not going to be a street party.
how,
Ozil is here to stay.
how about,
Ozil! I just don't think you understand.
Oh, dear.
well, how about we fund everything together? Let's start naming Ozil again and again and again and again. Oh, say, oh, say, oh, say, oh.
As long as you pay
yeah.
IG.
Yeah. There we go. Good show, guys. Good show.
All right, guys, listen. But let's call this a wrap now. Stan, the man, as always, thanks for joining us on the Easytalk podcast. Also, again, guys, you're watching it again at a later stage. Make sure when the Gooners of Vancouver does their video, get in the comments and tell us what you think about their video. Fantastic. Yep.
I just checked the first one out yesterday. I've been missing them, but I got the first one yesterday. I left a comment. Really good video, Stan. I liked it.
Cheers, Mobay. Thanks a lot, man.
Nice one.
And also as well, have a good one on Monday, mate. But later, an early birthday wishes to you. Have a good one.
Oh, you know if I have a good one or not. Trust me. Don't worry.
Oh dear. Mubay, as always, man. Thanks for coming back on the podcast, man. Bloodfire.
Yes, sir. As always, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure, my brother.
Nice one. And IJ, again, congratulations on hitting the 500,000 viewer mark on your channel. Yeah, upwards, man. Upwards and onwards.
Surely. Thank you so much. And Mobay, in advance, happy birthday, man.
Yeah, appreciate you, though. Appreciate you.
Yeah. Anyhow, if you guys have been wondering who or what you've been watching Cannon Fodder, the channel for Arsenal fans all over the world. Good night.